You are listening to the Awake Athlete Podcast. I'm Jessica Mikowski, endurance athlete and mindset coach, here to share with you perspectives and contemplations from a 10,000-foot view of life. Episode 11, the season finale. I can't believe we're here. And I have to tell you, I have to be honest, I've already been recording inspirations for season 3. Like, I don't know, they just come in and I'm like, where's my journal? I got to write them down. But let's just be here right now. Let's dive into a final inquiry, which is one that I think we could really make a practice of asking ourselves every day for the rest of our lives, and especially never more potent than when we are in like suffering, when we're in the fight, when we're in disappointment. Those are our pinned locations in life to wake up to an inquiry like this. And so here it is. You ready? Are you gripping the banana too tight? In season 1, we had an episode called Choke or Let Go. And it was a bonus episode when I described how I broke a pattern with my dog, Clark. And by the way, he's given me several opportunities to get into that solution energy. And I have to say, like, I use the same solution that I did in that episode, and it works every time. So we've actually created a new pattern, but it's a helpful pattern. It's a loving pattern. It's a nonviolent pattern. And so that serves me well. It serves him well. It serves the energy of our home well, our relationship. And, you know, we don't selectively learn things. So if it's serving me well there to let go, then it's serving me in all areas of my life. And Clark also, if you remember, served as a wonderful example of what happens when we don't let go, when we tighten our grip on life. So this reminds me of the process of capturing monkeys in India, which makes my heart heavy to even think about any being in captivity. But the truth is, we hold ourselves in captivity so much of our day, of our life here on earth. And really, all we need to do is lighten our grip and let go. So how they capture monkeys is that they construct these small cages with narrow spaces in between the bars, and they place a banana inside the cage. As the monkey comes by, the monkey reaches in to snag the banana, but the monkey cannot pull the banana out of the cage because the spaces between the bars only allow the monkey to reach in. There's not enough space for the banana to also be pulled through. So then the monkey catchers come along, and the only thing, oh my God, the only thing the monkey needs to do is let go of the banana, and freedom is theirs for the having, right? Instead, they refuse to let go of the banana, and they are taken into captivity, and in the process, they actually tighten their grip on the banana. So the point of curiosity is to look around our lives and see, where are we hanging on too tight? It can be a belief about somebody. You know, we condemn people all the time for their behavior instead of seeing them as their true self, as sacred. Not their behavior, but as their true being. We do this to ourselves as well. Not only do we hang on tightly, we allow our beliefs to go unexamined. We are actually defined many times by those unexamined beliefs, which is limitation, limitation, limitation. And for any athlete who is driven to excel, you better believe that we must not leave our beliefs unchecked. There are other perspectives and ways of being that we can open up to that are helpful, not only in our own situation, but our global situation. One of the other ways that we keep ourselves captive is by believing that something must unfold in a certain way. Oh man, how many times I have looked at my life and been like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time for this to happen. And when this happens, then this is going to happen. And then this is going to happen. And like, they couldn't tell this story better in a movie. It's perfect. Okay, universe, like here's the plan. Let it unfold. And all of it is based on this perfect little contrast-free, suffering-free plan that I have in my head that I believe it's the right time for something to unfold. It's wrapped in hard lines and must-haves, which is like 2 ingredients for suffering. And as soon as something strayed off the blueprint of my plan, I would tighten my grip and I would suffer. So I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I have a feeling I'm not alone. The other place where we tighten our grip and keep ourselves captive is with material things. I think cars are a great example here. So how about when you get a new car and like everything you're doing is to prevent that new car from getting a scratch or a ding? And what happens? Inevitably, it gets scratched and dinged, and we suffer. The last car that we bought, when it got its first ding, I was like, yes, we got our first ding. That's amazing. And I actually celebrated, not the ding, but I celebrated my freedom. I wasn't faking the celebration. It was years of suffering on account of a ding or a scratch and me being disappointed and attached and gripping too tightly to what I wanted it to be and what it was. And as I continued to wake up and get onto myself, I have slowly lightened my grip. And I have realized that freedom feels so much better than a perfect paint job. So the story of catching the monkeys is written in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And really what Patanjali is talking about is detachment. Our existence here on earth, our crappy races, our failed training sessions, our huge successes, they all give us life experience so that we can liberate ourselves through detachment, or we can suffer by gripping and holding on too tightly. I totally understand if you're having feelings like, well, wait a minute, I love my Tesla and I love my beachfront home and I love my thriving business. Like, I don't want to be liberated from those. But what I'm talking about here is just liberation of the attachment to those things in our life. When we back away from attachment, when we lighten our grip on the bananas in our life, we actually are able to enjoy life fully. So we can enjoy the things, enjoy the material things. We can have the toys. We can race the race. But we can also release our suffering by lightening up our grip and letting go. So don't get me wrong. I love luxury. I love my diamond earrings. I love mascara. I love looking good. I love things. But over time, a little bit every day, I have let go of my attachment to those things. And so I learned a huge lesson around material things and what is important in life when I had cats. Like, I remember we had this cat and I had this leather club chair. And because I thought, like, well, if you're a homeowner and you're in your 30s and you're addicted to Pottery Barn, then you have a leather club chair, you know? So I had one. And we went away to Winter Park and we came back. And this is when we lived in Boulder, and we came back and I remember walking into the living room and we had this big window that shined, beautiful sun. It was a south-facing house. And it was shining sun on my leather club chair. And I looked and I was like, what is that all over the chair? It looked like somebody had like splattered dirt or mud on it. And when I got closer, the cat had like ripped the chair apart while we were gone, because he was an outdoor cat and we left him inside because you can do that with cats when you go away for a couple of days. And I remember sitting down and being like, I have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice to decide what is more important, this material thing or this animal. Because honestly, you guys, my first response was, I'm going to bring the cat back to the pound. And oh my God, what a dark heart that was that I had in that moment. And I chose the being. And I chose to leave the club chair there and look at it every day and feel my suffering and breathe and relax. And this was well before I started meditating. It was just this natural instinct that I had to be free. And we all have that same instinct to be free. So what I found by stepping back and allowing for the unfolding of life, right, for the losing of things, for the scratching of furniture, the dinging of the cars, is that my happiness was not contingent on the holding on, but it was actually in step with the letting go. So this existence of life is a passing show. Life is just a series of moments. Even if we want to hold on to it, even for a minute, we're going to feel tension. So the goal is to let go, because that which we hold on to holds on to us. Attachment breeds suffering. And if you look at the root of the word attachment, the root word means to nail or to stake up. When we hang on too tightly to a person in our life, an animal, a situation, a leather club chair, how something is unfolding, a personal best race, a disaster race, we are nailing ourselves down in a world where everything is always changing. So it's impossible. This is why it causes so much suffering, because everything is always changing and life is this passing show, and we are trying to nail ourselves down in an ocean of motion. It doesn't work. It is the nature of this world to always be changing. And so to avoid suffering, we also want to be open to always be changing. So I love the lesson of the monkeys being taken captive, because to me, those monkeys are not victims to their captors. They are victims to themselves because they are not willing to let go of the banana. And with everything on the Awake Athlete path, we can only grow through experience, the experience of applying these tools and techniques. We can only understand how to detach by experiencing the suffering of attachment. So stay awake to the lessons, because every choice will teach us its inherent wisdom. This is why there's no right or wrong choice. And the choice I made that day to not give the cat back and then still have the wrecked chair, it's not like that was going to bring me happiness. I chose the being. I chose to begin to see that a living being was more important than an inanimate object. And so that was a big piece of freedom that I really didn't even understand at the time that I had begun to uncover. So when we are suffering because things are not going to plan, or someone is acting in a way that creates upset within us, here it is, you guys. Take one breath. Get yourself into the present moment. It is a place of timelessness. It is a place where the ego cannot exist. It is the place where you are at your highest potential to welcome in a new perspective and free yourself by lightening your grip. Breath is the perfect tool to get you into the gap and realize that you always have a choice. In each moment, we have the opportunity to choose a grievance or a miracle. Decide what you want and choose it. Freedom or captivity. Thank you so much for being with me for this ride of season 2. I will see you guys in season 3. Peace out.